Alright, what's going on, people? Welcome back to the channel. It's RCX MMA here. Today we're going to talk about the recent breaking news about Jon Jones making his UFC debut, return at his heavyweight debut against somebody who apparently is also making their UFC debut, a brand new fighter, of whom I've never heard of, named Ciryl Gane. Jon Jones is back, and we know this because he's called his opponent Ciryl Gane. Okay. He's the same kind, dude. Jon Jones, I bet you if you asked him to pronounce Cain Velasquez's name, he'd be one of those dudes like Colby Covington who says Cain Velasquez, even though he comes from Albuquerque, New Mexico. And he still wouldn't know how to pronounce the Spanish dude's name. Dude, when he said that Ciryl Gane, I laughed so hard, and I sent it to my brother. But anyways, we'll get into that a little bit more. It's amazing how someone's fight IQ can be so high, but their real IQ is so low. If you like my content or watch any of my videos, even if you hate me, just subscribe, please. I've got an egg stand here, okay? And I've got one in real life. And I've got a jar that says $5 per carton, and I trust all my neighbors to do that. So I'm going to trust you guys as my virtual neighbors on the YouTube to please hit subscribe because it's free. It doesn't even cost you $5. So anyways, let's get into this. Jon Jones versus Ciryl Gane. I'm literally never calling him Ciryl Gane ever again. Ever. Because Ciryl Gane is so much better, dude. It sounds like a brand new cereal that Jon Jones was trying to sponsor or something. It's actually hilarious. It makes me laugh. Leave it to Jon Jones, dude. Leave it to Jon Jones, okay, to do that, right? Because he couldn't even remember his ABCs if we all remember that incident. So this is a pretty exciting fight. I'm gonna be honest, dude, and I'm probably gonna get some shit for this take, but I really don't care that Francis Ngannou's gone. If I'm being brutally honest, dude, I would have way rather seen this fight. The only reason I would have been more excited about the Francis Ngannou fight was because I really love the idea of seeing Jon Jones flatlined on the canvas, because I think he's a horrible person. But when it comes to technique, this fight is off the charts. This might be the most high skill level in terms of technique and in terms of everything, to be real, that we've ever seen ever. I mean, geez Louise, dude. This fight is this is an MMA fan's dream for Jon Jones' return, if you actually think about it, due to the technique. Because with Francis, it's can Jon Jones avoid him for like 2 rounds, and then, or can Francis land one big blow and knock Jones out? Because after those first 10 minutes, Francis got way too much muscle. Not way too much, but in terms of for cardio, he's got a lot. And that wears you out. And I think that even if Stipe made it past that second round in their rematch, that he probably could have ended up beating him up for the last few rounds. And yeah, I know what y'all are gonna say is, oh, but he beat Ciryl Gane with the third, fourth, and fifth round of their fight. Yeah, and in the 5th round, all his fat ass did was lay on top of him and breathe on his face. So hopefully Francis Ngannou brushed his teeth that day, because poor Ciryl Gane, dude. There's probably a Pokemon attack like that, like Poison Breath. Maybe that's what he was trying to do. Maybe Francis was trying to channel his inner Team Rocket, and he became wheezing for a fucking minute. I think he probably should have lost that fight, dude. So I'm much more excited about this fight, because I want to see on the feet if Jon Jones does not have a fucking 12-inch reach advantage against someone like Daniel Cormier and can still get his goddamn mouthpiece knocked out of his mouth before landing that head kick. Can that same... I just don't think it applies at heavyweight, man. I think if you don't have the reach and weight advantage, which I'm sure, as lanky as Jon Jones looks with his tiny little girl calves, he probably had a weight advantage on a vast majority of his opponents that fight at 205. I would imagine he weighed more than Anthony Smith. I would imagine he may. I can't even remember the few recent opponents. What I also know is it's funny that people will say, like, when you lose a controversial decision that you should have won. Well, yeah, but it doesn't matter because I've got, the W's and on the Wikipedia page. Like, I think Paddy Pimblett said something about this too. And that is so true because people are still acting like, oh my God, that Jon Jones, like, never lost his light heavyweight championship. And technically he didn't on paper, but he definitely fucking did. Dominic Reyes beat him. And then Jan Blachowicz beat Dominic Reyes, and then it went from there. And Jon Jones just never returned. But yeah, I'm still salty about that, man, because that shit bugs me, dude. I felt for Reyes, and now we've seen what's happened to Reyes since, and it's like, goddamn, imagine if the judges had just gotten it correctly. It's really unfortunate, but I'm having a real hard time on who to pick in this one because, dude, I think people are forgetting how lackluster Jon Jones looked in his last few performances. I mean, even the performance against Anthony Smith, which on paper would appear as though he dominated, but it's kind of like in the way that Max Holloway dominated Frankie Edgar with a 50-45 or a 49-46, right? Like, he won every round, right? But not super, like, he didn't beat the shit out of him. In his last three, he lost to Dominic Reyes. Straight up. Barely won a split decision against Thiago Santos on no knees. Thiago Santos had no knees left for that fight, right? Partway through that fight, he had no knees, and Jon Jones still couldn't fucking get it done. And then the Anthony Smith one before that, like, his one good performance after his return was Gustafsson, and Gustafsson kind of doesn't look great as of lately. Like, you know what I mean? He had a couple fights after that Jon Jones fight, and he didn't look fantastic. And people kept saying, well, look at how good, leading up to this fight, I'm saying, look how good Gustafsson looked after the Teixeira fight. But if I'm not mistaken, man, those two fights were a long ways apart. Him versus Teixeira and him versus Jon Jones for the second time. I think people are forgetting, man. I think people are forgetting how goddamn lackluster Jon Jones looked in his last few performances. And now, what he's been doing, I'm sure he's been training all aspects of MMA. But when you're so heavily focused on gaining weight with muscle, the way he is and the way he has successfully done, you're not training MMA at 100% because you can't, because you're constantly sore from the gym, from lifting heavy weights, unless... Did Jon Jones ever retire? Did he ever claim retirement? Because, look, man, that's still something that people need to worry about. If we get to fight week and all of a sudden, dude, pop in for a pulsing effect, a pinch of salt in an Olympic-sized swimming pool, cereal gain. Guys, it's like having a pinch of salt in a bowl of cereal gain. Don't worry about it. Yeah, man. I don't like Jon Jones either. Jeez, dude. I've been hating on people this morning. I was talking about how I don't like Gaethje, and now I'm talking about how I don't like Jon Jones. But honestly, how could you? How could anybody like Jon Jones? This guy's one of the biggest pieces of shit to ever enter the sport. If we're being honest, dude. Like, fuck, man. God. That's kind of like, I said I wasn't excited about him versus Francis, and I'm way more excited about this. I did want to see him get flatlined, which, by the way, I still think is possible. He does have a great chin. He's going to be fighting big boys. And Ciryl Gane. Ciryl Gane moves like a goddamn cat at heavyweight. And it's quite impressive. He hopefully has worked on his cardio, because in the latter rounds against Francis Ngannou was also a little lackluster. But if you look at the performances that Ciryl Gane has been having against top 5, top 10 at least heavyweights consistently for the last couple years now, and then look at Jon Jones's last few performances and compare those with those performances of Ciryl Gane against bigger, stronger men. I have a feeling Jon Jones is going to be a lot slower. And I have a feeling that I think he's a little too reliant on that size. I'm sure like the wrestling technique will always be there, but his striking seriously relied on him having a massive reach advantage over every single one of his opponents. And that's not going to be the case. And Ciryl Gane can actually strike. Like, legit, like, the dude might be one of the best heavyweight strikers of all time. Point blank, period. I mean, how many dudes don't get knocked out by Francis Ngannou, right? Ciryl Gane made him look like a fucking amateur when it came to the striking, which is why Francis Ngannou used fucking heavy breath attack from the Pokemon game. Anyways, I think Ciryl Gane's gonna get this one done. The only tricky thing is like, if I were to pick, if you had to say, like, the fight happened, you didn't get to see it, but somebody won by decision, who would you choose? I would choose Jon Jones, probably. This is what this process goes through my mind a lot. Like, how many ways do they got to win? Like, when I'm thinking of Volk and Islam, that's the problem that I'm having for picking Volk, is like, I don't see him winning. I see his only chance of winning is a decision. Whereas Islam could sub him easy. Like, that's a easy outcome to imagine. But I don't know if Islam, I don't know. Anyways, we're not talking about that now. We're talking about Ciryl Gane and Jon Jones. So, yeah, I think Jon Jones does have a good chin. We saw it in his last 3 fights because he was getting hit. Okay, we saw it against Dominic Reyes especially. I might change my pick closer to the date. I mean, it's pretty close, man. Goddamn. But I'm going to go with Ciryl Gane. Ciryl Gane. By like a 3rd round TKO. You imagine seeing Jon Jones get TKO'd. Goddamn, boy. Chef's kiss. Can't wait to see that. I hope we do at some point. I hope he doesn't have horrible lackluster performances, fights like a little bitch, because he's scared to get KO'd by heavyweights. Like, I doubt it, but it's gonna be fun, man. Anyways, fuck 'em. Yeah, Ciryl Gane, 3rd round TKO. If that doesn't happen, if Ciryl Gane doesn't TKO him, Jon Jones gonna get it done. But I'll do a more detailed and concrete pick closer to the fight. So, yeah, please subscribe, you fucks. Putting out 2 videos in the last couple of days. So come on, subscribe, you fucks. You'll forget all about it. It takes you 2 seconds. And it's free. Okay, see ya. Bye.